an incredible game. I want to know, though, are you guys more impressed with the Lions or disappointed in the Ravens?
Respectfully, utterly disappointed in the Ravens defense. Now, shout out to Lamar Jackson. He's trying to keep this thing afloat. He's trying to keep it a fight outside of the ending 2-point conversion where he just airmailed it over Zay Flowers' head. But the Ravens defense allowed 40-plus points to Josh Allen's Bills. They've now allowed 35-plus points to the Detroit Lions that just looked 2 weeks ago like they couldn't figure it out offensively at all whatsoever. The Ravens defense has way too many great players, especially by name, to be this putrid defensively. Schematically, it's not there. Defensively, it doesn't look physical enough. Zach Orr, the defensive coordinator, he doesn't look like he has the right players in the right time at the right moments. Like this Ravens defense, especially a team that's supposed to be built upon defense historically and legacy-wise, I cannot figure it out. Kyle Hamilton, Malachi Starks, supposed to be a lethal combination. Yeah. Marlon Humphrey with the game on the line. You about an 8-9-year vet, former All-Pro, $100 million defensive back, and you get fooled mentally by a play-action pass on 4th and 2 with the game on the line. If your star players aren't playing like stars, then who will? So to me, the Ravens defense got to be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, you know what? I actually love that take, but I'm going with the Lions.
Oh.
You go to the Ravens is a bad team. When I say bad, I mean really, really good. They bad, right?
Cold-blooded.
You got the Ravens there. Okay, you go all the way to Baltimore, and you get a win. You got 200 yards on the ground against the Ravens on the road, and y'all tell me that's not bigger? Nobody expected the Lions to win this game.
Sure.
Jared Goff, he played solid. He played solid in there, right?
Sure.
Controlled the game. Defense, the way they I mean, I know it's 30 points, but the way they defended Lamar Jackson, creating turnovers, Derrick Henry another fumble. I gotta go with the Lions.
But here's my problem.
And going on for 4th downs. Let me not forget that.
True.
That take guts, Acho. Game's over.
Here's my problem. And literally game is going right now, and this blouse is officially, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Here's my problem, though. Josh Allen threw for 400 yards on y'all 2 weeks ago. That's fine. It's just Josh Allen. Then 2 weeks later, you gonna let the Lions rush for 225 yards and let Jared Goff pass for 200 yards? Pick a struggle, please. If you want to let Jared Goff light you up with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams, but you stop the run game, bet. If you want to stop the pass game, but then David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, they go crazy, bet. But you can't let them rush for 200-plus yards and pass for 200-plus yards. So that, to me, is why, Shady, I'm like, this Ravens defense, so long as they're giving up 35-plus points a game, Lamar Jackson can't do nothing.
But that's great. But what about on the offensive side for the Lions? Like, you got to go to Baltimore and do that. Another thing, they was bullying them boys.
True.
They was running the ball over and over again. And it wasn't like, out scheming them. It was downhill runs.
Yes.
I ain't see no sweet spot. I ain't see nothing creative.
But then let me ask you this.
They bullied them boys.
You give more credit to the Lions for bullying the Ravens, or you more embarrassed for the Ravens for being bullied?
Bro, I know one thing about being a bully, as in like watching linemen be bullies.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yo, you got to go out there and do that.
Yeah.
And it's one thing if you out scheming team. I've seen times where you just out scheme them and they can't get it. You hit them with traps. You know what I mean? You doing end the rounds. Like, they didn't do none of that. They physically dominated, though.
Yeah.
The start running back and the backup running back. They both did it over and over and over again. And when they needed to convert on 3rd and shorts, on 4th and 1s, they did that. And the last thing, you are on the road. On the road in football terms is like, back then, like Troy, like we gonna burn all the ships and we not leaving. So when we gotta win and take over their country. That's what it means to be on the road and you dominate on a running game.
I guess what you're witnessing, Care Bear, is a Hall of Fame running back speak with an offensive mind.
Biased, huh?
And I am too. I am too. Because I'm putting the onus on the Ravens' atrocious defense. And Shady's like, yo, but that offense looks good. And I think both things are true. Yeah. The dilemma for me, and again, I get it, Ravens fans, Madu BK did not play. Kyle Van Noy did not play. Jair Alexander did not play. I get it. You can have an excuse. If that's what you want me to give you an excuse, fine, you can have the excuse. But how can you get physically whipped and mentally whipped? And that's what I saw. First possession of the game. Detroit Lions marched down the field 70-plus yards, touchdown. And then when the Detroit Lions needed to convert at the goal line, then they put Amon-Ra in the backfield. They hand it to him. He pitches it to Jahmyr Gibbs. Touchdown. Then when the Detroit Lions need to convert on 4th and 2 with the game at the line at the 50, up by 7, you got to have it. Ravens, you desperately need a stop. And then you bite on the play action, first down over All-Pro Marlowe. So for me, I fully understand giving the Detroit Lions credit because credit they deserve, but 2-5 in no NFL game should you give up 38 points.
I want to ask one more question before we move this question. The Lions defense, did they throw it down? I know it's going to say 288 yards Lamar had.
Yeah.
But I'll take some of them yards because the last
Of course.
bit. But now they converted when they need to. But overall, I thought the Lions defense played solid.
Play good enough to win.
How you feel about that?
I think that's a phenomenal point because what people got to remember is if you have an offense, I love doing this show with you because we played together. 2013, Philadelphia Eagles, we had the best offense in football.
Yeah,
Shady knows this. Number one offense. Shady was the rushing leader that year, 15, 16, 1,700 yards, whatever the case may be. And our goal defensively wasn't to get stops. People don't realize that.
That's true, yeah,
Our
yeah.
goal wasn't to get stops. Our goal was to force turnovers.
Yep.
Because we're like, look, so long as I can get the ball back to LaShawn McCoy, to Mike Vick, to Deshaun Jackson, we going to be all right. So the Detroit Lions, their goal is to force a fumble on Derrick Henry with 8 minutes, 22 seconds left when you're up by 4. That's the goal. Detroit Lions don't need to stop Derrick Henry necessarily. Do what you want to do, Derrick Henry.
So
we need to force the fumble.
On the defense side of the ball, is that how y'all think? If you got a good
If you have a crazy offense, that's how you think.
Wow.
Because if you have a crazy offense, the objective isn't to hold Lamar Jackson to 20 passing yards.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Right.
Hold Lamar Jackson to negative rushing yards. It's not going to happen. Force you 2 fumbles.
Yeah.
A turnover on downs counts as a turnover. You feel me?
Yeah.
Remember, when the Ravens went for it or in the first quarter of the game on 4th down, Lamar Jackson fumbles, he picks it up, he dives on the ball. That's the difference in 7 points. That's the turnover.
Yeah, that's a
a
good
turnover
point.
on downs is a turnover.
That's a good point.
A forced fumble on Derrick Henry, that's the turnover. The difference in this football game today was those 2 turnovers.
Yeah.
I might be missing one. I don't think Lamar threw a pick. Brian Bance dropped it. He has to make sure he catches it next time. But the Detroit Lions, given how good their offense
they
is,
stopped on the goal line.
exactly
They
right.
stopped on the goal
Yeah,
line.
exactly
Changing
right.
downs.
No, I agree with your points though too. I think those shutdown defenses are the ones that have ball control centric offenses that are not as explosive as like y'all were with the Eagles back in the day. I was also going to say about the Lions though today. I think this conversation 100% should be about how good the Lions were. The Lions look amazing on the offensive line. They look amazing defensively tonight, making plays whenever they needed to. And they look like a completely different team than the team that played the Packers on the road in week 1 with new play callers on both sides of the ball. I think the Lions looked incredible today. Are they a serious contender for the NFC yet again? And are they the favorite for the division?
They're absolutely a legitimate contender. The Detroit Lions now have to be right there at the top of the NFC with the Philadelphia Eagles, with the Los Angeles Rams, and now you have to put the Detroit Lions there. And the Green Bay Packers, after that anemic loss to the Cleveland Browns, they have to then fall into 4th place. And we'll see what happens with the Washington Commanders when they get healthy. The Detroit Lions did not look like they missed Ben Johnson. And that is a gigantic statement that
They
I
were
just
creative
made.
today. Like Ben Johnson was already there.
Correct.
Yeah, right. Good. Yes.
Like,
yes,
they
yeah.
did not look like they missed Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson, for those unfamiliar, just tuning into the Speakeasy, offensive coordinator, a boy genius, now head coach of the Chicago Bears. They didn't miss him. As soon as I saw Kieran that play on the goal line where they handed it to Amon-Ra St. Brown and he pitched it to Jahmyr Gibbs, that's a top 5 play ever created offensively.
Wow. Whoa.
Like if somebody has studied
that was
defense,
crazy. That was
and
crazy.
again,
Yeah.
when you're a backup linebacker, you know all you got to do is study. I've seen every offensive play. I didn't necessarily play against it because I wasn't on the field, but I studied it to make sure DeMeco Ryans and Michael Kendricks were adequately equipped and prepared for it. That is a top 5 offensive play ever designed. You can only utilize it on like 4 yards or less.
Right.
But ever designed. They called that. John Morton, offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, he dialed it up. 4th and 2. Shady was in here. We were sitting right next to each other watching it with the game on the line. Play action pass. Hard play action.
Yeah.
Hard play action pass too. And the reason a play action pass works, and Shady can preach to it, y'all sitting in a show with some greatness here, Shady can preach to it, is when you rush for 225 yards, linebackers got to sprint downhill.
Yep.
You feel me, 2-5?
And if you're watching that running play or that pass, I'm sorry, they've been running that same play, running the ball the whole time.
Yep.
The wide receiver motions in, he gets in there for that safety or that corner the whole time. So when they did the motion and Brown came up on Humphrey, he think, okay, you about to block me. Stood there and then released on him.
Yes. And the
That was
thing
special.
is, like, defensively, you practice against that play every day.
Yeah.
Hey, it's 3rd down, short yardage, bring it up, defense, scout team ready. And Marlon Humphrey's seen that play before.
Yeah.
But whenever that offensive receiver comes up and stalk blocks, you're like, oh, bet. Let me just pity pat it real quick, make sure I fit my jobs, make sure I get my head in the right gap, get prepared to shed and make the tackle. Next thing you know, Amon-Ra's like this, and then he out of there.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And in real game time, when he's out of there, Jared Goff makes a perfect pass. Beautiful.
But what about the call that play, though? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
was thinking, to call that play in a crunch time moment, you gotta have some guts. I'll say that. You gotta have some guts to do that. You know what I mean? Because that's you get a holding call, you can miss the pass, and now the Ravens were right there to score.
Correct.
So that was.
I think it's safe to say, regardless of who the play caller is, they're going to match the identity of their head coach.
Yes, sir.
We knew whenever that play came down, Dan Campbell was going to go for it, and he has a guy that's going to call it up in that moment. And I also got a fun tweet here for you guys, a crazy statistic that just got dropped on Twitter. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, and Amon-Ra St. Brown just recorded their 10th career game where they all scored a touchdown. This is the most such of any trio in NFL history. More than Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Edgerrin James, more than all of these other great trios we've had.
Isaac Bruce,
Torrey Holt,
and
Marshall Faulk. Yeah, come on, bro. It's
Wow.
crazy.
Oh, that's crazy.
Think about how great this offense has been.
It's crazy to say this, but given how their offense is utilized, this is probably the best trio in the NFL. If the Eagles utilized it, obviously A.J. Brown, Smitty, and Saquon Barkley would be the best trio. But given how this offense is run, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, you could suggest best trio in all of football because they all offer such different things. I believe Jahmyr Gibbs or David Montgomery, one of them should be joining the show in a matter of moments. But they all offer different things. Gibbs, elite speed. David Montgomery, power and surprising shiftiness. Y'all remember, Bucky Irving joined the show last Thursday after his game, and he said a top 5 shiftiest backs in the league, he said was David Montgomery.
He did say that.
And then Amon-Ra St. Brown, he is a master at running routes. He's a master at blocking. He's a master at getting open in the middle of the field. They all present different things. But again, y'all, to me, this is about the Ravens, Kieran. It's about the Ravens 2-5.
Yeah,